Welcome to the November monthly Construction and Traffic Impacts webinar. We're so happy you could join us. I'm Wendy Thompson from the Streetcar team, and my main role is to keep you informed about the project, especially any changes that might affect your daily commute or neighborhood. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or concerns you might have. We know that construction can disrupt your routine, and our goal is to provide clear and timely information. We're here to walk you through the latest developments and encourage you to ask questions at any point using the Q&A feature. I'd like to introduce the team who will be sharing updates on construction and what to expect in the coming months. We have Steve Jensen, Deputy Chief of Staff for Economic Development in the Mayor's Office and Omaha Streetcar Authority Board Member, Megan Walter, MUD Customer Engagement Manager, Mike True, Omaha Public Works Department and the Streetcar Project Manager, and Steve Rue, Omaha Public Works Department, Capital Construction and Street Maintenance Engineer. Now I'd like to turn it over to Steve Jensen.
Thanks, Wendy. So today we're going to go through our work zone safety reminders that we do every month. We'll go over the schedule. MUD is going to talk about gas relocation work. We'll talk about the vehicle maintenance facility, West utility package work, I-480 bridges, the East utility package that's well underway, Turner Boulevard utility package, mainline track construction. We'll go over what we've been doing for business support and also construction communications. And then lastly, we'll open it up for questions that have been sent in already, and then those that come in during the call. So first, zone safety reminders. Just want to remind everybody that safety is very important for the workers, but also for those of us moving through the corridor. And so we would just like you to avoid distractions like being on your cell phone, eating, drinking, talking to others. So turn down the radio and just kind of try to stay alert while you're moving through the construction zones. We've got detours posted, so please follow the detours and wayfinding signage. Also for pedestrians, cyclists, and traffic where they're posted. Stay out of the work zones. Don't walk through them, bike through them, or certainly drive through or park in those work zones. And yes, there's a lot of work going on, but if you plan ahead and are patient, you can move through the corridor. You can access all of the businesses on the sidewalks and nearby parking. So just be alert as you're moving through the zones. With regard to the schedule, we've wrapped up the work on Lot A some time back, and that has allowed us to move forward on the vehicle maintenance facility. The utilities west on Turner Boulevard to 40th, the work is continuing. Steve Rue will go through more detail on that. Interstate bridges work is wrapping up on the Harney Street Bridge. It's moving along well. Steve will be covering that. Sampson Construction is moving along with construction on the vehicle maintenance facility. Mike is going to talk about that and provide an update on the project. As I mentioned before, utilities project number 2, or East Utilities, work well underway, particularly in that 8th to 10th Capitol, the Harney area. Steve and Mike will cover the details there. And then work is we're planning to begin soon and work on Turner Boulevard and sewer improvements. Mike and Steve will cover that timeline and closures. Mainline construction work is going to begin right after the first of the year. MUD gas relocation work is continuing. Megan will talk about that. And then ongoing communications and fiber utility work throughout the whole corridor is underway and being coordinated with the other work. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Megan to talk about MUD work. Megan.
Thanks, Steve. Hi, everyone. MUD has completed relocating the gas mains along Harney between 10th and 19th Street in the Old Market area. So our gas service work for the JAMS building is completed, and the excavations for this work have been turned over to the city for repair. The alley work behind the Dubliner is completed, but work continues on the remaining gas service in this phase for the Voodoo Taco building. The crew has completed extending the gas main along 11th Street from Farnham to the north side of the Voodoo Taco building and has installed the new gas service. This building's gas service will soon be reconnected. The crew is currently backfilling excavations and should have the street repair turned over to the city by the end of this week. Traffic continues to flow on 11th Street. However, parking in the area continues to be impacted. We do want to point out that all of the big parking garage located at 12th and Harney is available for parking, as well as other parking garages. I also want to point out the fact that every single one of these businesses continue to stay open. So if you would like to continue to go to these businesses and support them, that would be very much appreciated. Drivers and pedestrians are advised to use caution near excavation in this area. Soon, the final connection will be scheduled at 15th Street. The anticipated completion timeline for this corridor's work is within about 1 month. So our next phase, which is phase 5, this is Farnham between 19th and 26th Ave. So MUD has completed the gas main installation along Farnham Street between 24th Street and 26th Avenue. Crews have begun gas service work in the 25th Ave for all makes building, and will soon perform service work in 26th Ave for the Farnham Hill building. These two services are being relocated off Farnham Street. Lane restrictions will be in place for this work. All available excavations within the project area have been turned over to the city for street repair, and traffic control measures have been removed where possible. Work also remains on Farnham between 19th and 20th Street, which will be scheduled at a later date. Phase 5 work is anticipated to be completed in early 2026. So our next phase, which is phase 7, this is Harney near I-480. So our gas main installation work for phase 7 is now complete. Individual gas service work is continuing to happen along this corridor. Please watch for lane and parking closures associated with this activity. And then finally, this fourth slide shows all 8 phases of the MUD gas relocation work. Work in phases 5 and 7 continue, and phase 6 is nearing completion. Our final phase of gas work is phase 8, located near Turner Boulevard. We anticipate this will start in approximately 2 weeks at the intersection of Turner Boulevard and Farnham Street. So traffic control in this area is currently being considered by MUD and the city of Omaha, which could include closing Turner Boulevard so the work can be completed as quickly as possible. So please be watching out for that. Thanks, everyone. I'll turn it back over to you, Steve.
Thanks, Megan. Just might mention that we also have others from the mayor's office on the line listening. So obviously it's an important project for all of us here. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mike True and Steve Rue to discuss vehicle maintenance facility, West Utility Package, I-480 bridges, East Utilities Package, Turner Boulevard Package, and mainline construction. Mike, I think you're up first on the vehicle maintenance facility. Mike.
Yes, I am, Steve. Thank you. So, vehicle maintenance facility, just a quick recollect everyone where this is at. East End, there's a loop, 10th to Capitol, Douglas to Farnham. This is kind of, you'd call it the northeast corner, nearby the Luminarium. You can kind of see that general area in the left picture up on the top side of it. For those of you who've been down here, we've been finalizing our foundations and getting all the steel set and all that concrete poured. It looks right now just basically like a big concrete slab surrounded by an open field that's been tore up. But excitingly enough, in November, about another week or two, we're going to start seeing this structure go vertical. There's a crane down there now that's getting assembled to start putting pieces into place. The vehicle maintenance facility is on track to generally be open in the first part of 2027, with the streetcars are set to arrive that summer. And we'll have more updates as we continue along. And then I believe next is Mr. Rue.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. I'm going to work through our utility packages in the order that they came online. So starting with the West Utilities package, this started back in January, and we are rapidly approaching the end of this first package here. So we started back on Turner. We've been working west right now. We're in this phase 3 from roughly 37th Street through 40th. Obviously, the really key issue that's going on right now, we have that full closure at 38th and Farnham as we work through some water main connections there. Right now, we believe that that work will be complete still in the 4-week time frame. So that started October 20th, and we are looking at that another week and a half from where we're at here to get that poured back. We should have updates as we get closer to finishing out that work. For the rest of this phase, we're still just doing the same work that we've done in the previous phases. So we're finishing out water main work, sanitary work. When that all gets put back and poured back, all the pavement gets put back, then we'll see that CIPP lining crew come in and they'll do the structural lining of the sanitary sewer, again, just like we've done for the other 2 phases. And we'll kind of start seeing this wrap up. So right now, phase 1, we're completely done. Phase 2, we're working through what we call punch list items. So they're just, the little few things that were left behind here and there. Phase 3, we're coming to the end. We'll see that punch list situation happen again. And really this first package is really coming to a close here. I know one of the questions we get asked, me and Mike get asked a lot, is about traffic patterns as we move through. So this first package was kind of, obviously the first package, but it was kind of like the first area to kind of take the brunt of this package. So they got the utilities as they move through here. We're going to see kind of construction slow down for a little bit until the mainline group comes in, and they're going to start back on Turner. Well, the biggest difference that's going to be there as far as traffic control is concerned is once we come into mainline, and Mike's going to talk about this when he gets to the mainline part, as opposed to what we did in these utility packages here, that mainline work is really going to be linear. So you're going to see them work one side of the street from east to west. And then after they get through their track work, you'll see them switch over. So whereas here we spent a lot of time working one side of the street to do sanitary, and then we had to go to water main, and then we had to keep working back and forth. You're going to see some improved traffic flows once we go into mainline, even though construction continues. So for the businesses that are there and for the people that are in this area a lot, I know construction is going to continue. Obviously we still have a ways to go into 2028 to finish this project, but you will see, I think, some traffic improvements as we get into the mainline. And Mike has some demos for that. So that's where we're at with this package, right? We're coming to an end. Going to the bridges, like Steve Jensen mentioned, going awesome. First bridge is almost complete. We're going to look at demoing Farnham going into next year. If you go through there right now, so we still have the closure coming off of 480 right now. The target date we have for opening that exit ramp off of 480 right now is 11/14. So 2 Fridays from now, we're anticipating that exit will open, and that'll be a straight through to Douglas. So we still have some signal work and some paving to put back, but we are going to open that exit. And so you'll get off there. You'll be able to go straight through to Douglas and take that back to the east. And then we're anticipating the rest of the work related to the full opening of the bridge to be completed by the end of the month. So we should have all the bridge work that's left, which is very little if you drive by, and then a lot of like the signal work, some of the paving, the ADA ramps that need to go back in there. That's kind of the pieces that are remaining. We're going to see that all hopefully completed by the end of the month, and that should allow full access through that intersection with our brand new awesome bridge. Some other work that we're going to see happening over there. If you drive by on 480, they're pouring the slope protection under the bridge. So I think the west side is currently being graded out. East side is actually halfway poured down the hill. So you can kind of see that, usually that concrete slab that we see under bridges. That's kind of where they're at down there. We're going to also see some lane closures happening through mid-November as they remove some of the bridge overhangs and some of the other structures they needed to finish out the bridge there. So look for those lane closures as they go through, not a full closure. We will have full closures in the future, but this is not a full closure. This will just be lane closures to accommodate that work. One of the questions we got in the chat, with the impending demolition of the Farnham Bridge, is there detour information to be shared? So we have had some conversations with Midtown and Blackstone, obviously about the demolition of the Farnham Bridge and funneling people back into those areas. So there will be some detour signs posted. We're basically, what we're looking at right now is pushing people up to Dodge, over to 33rd, and using the jug handle is what we call it. That's there to take people back down into the Midtown and Farnham areas. And we have some DMS boards, dynamic message boards, like the boards you see that have the like 2-part messages on them that flash. We're going to put those out there and help direct traffic for what that detour is and how to get back into those areas. And so if there's further questions on that, I'm happy to answer that. But yes, we have talked to the business owners in those areas, and we are going to try to accommodate some level of detour routing in there. East Utilities package. So this is again the largest package. I think I say this every month. This is the largest package that we have going for all of this utility work that's in here. As you can see with the number of bubbles that are on the screen, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that's happening simultaneously in there, and there's a lot of work upcoming. I know it's kind of a lot to take in as you're looking at this, but really, I guess if you have areas that you specifically want to go to, I would locate those bubbles. I know 8th and Capitol, the work on Harney from 11th to 10th, and 10th and southbound Farnham. Those sometime by the middle of the month, we're looking at wrapping up some of that work, so we should see some new access come back in there. 8th and Douglas, there's a pretty substantial amount of work still to be done under there. We have sanitary and water work still to do under there, so that's going to be later in the month. Moving out west, so I guess just to summarize that, there will be some access, but again, as we close up one area, it is just to move those crews another block or two and continue that work. So hopefully the route that you need will become open, but those crews, they're not going to go away. They're just going to keep sliding west and moving through intersections as they go. Other work that we have going on, Farnham from 10th to 15th, that's happening right now. Harney 19th to 17th, it's actually kind of like 18th to 20th now. We have electrical work going on out there, as well as Farnham from 18th to 20th. And then I think we have Harney from 19th to 24th. That has not started yet, but that is upcoming. That's some upcoming work. So, and eventually, I think December, we are looking at a crew that's going to take 20th from Farnham to Harney to finish that electrical work that's in there. So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to do in this package. And again, as you see these crews, they're going to finish an area. They're going to keep moving west. Please try to follow the street signs, the road signs that are out there, the mapping instructions that we can update as we can. And as Steve Jensen said at the beginning, be cautious in these areas. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of lane restrictions. So just be safe moving through here. Turner utility package. So this is, again, the smallest footprint package that we have of all the utility packages, but it is a really complex project. It involves some very deep sewer manhole work that needs to happen in here. Right now, most of the work that's occurred to date has been just a lot of potholing and locating, ensuring that we understand where all the structures and pieces that we need to know where they are, that we have them documented, that we're doing our shoring design for this very deep work that's going to occur in here. Coming up in January, this intersection will be fully closed for 4 months to do this work. It is not safe to keep this intersection open. It is not safe to the traveling public or the construction crews that are there. So I know we're 2 months away from that, but this intersection at Turner and Farnham will be fully closed for 4 months to accommodate this work. Right now, again, we've seen a lot of potholing. Starting on Monday, you are going to see crews move into these 2 green boxes and start setting up the work that they need to do. You're going to start seeing them staging up like their construction fencing, start getting their shoring together. So still a little ways to go before we really see a lot of that deep work take place. But starting Monday, we are going to see these crews move in and start the bulk of this project here. And I believe the next slide is mainline, and Mike is going to talk about the mainline.
Thanks, Steve. So mainline construction, as you just heard, Turner down there, in and around the same area, beginning in January 5th, heading 1 is basically working a little bit past so you don't have crews interfering with each other. But on the north side of Farnham, Kiewit will begin working along that northbound lane in the parking lane, tearing up and getting track actually laid in. This will be exciting. These are the first direct streetcar elements, excluding what's happened down at the VMF. What you see here is a stop near, I believe it's the First Presbyterian Church, and this is a rendering of what it'll look like in the future. This is a 2-sided stop where streetcars will both west and eastbound. The center area gives a nice little pedestrian refuge. There'll be some beautiful landscaping and some other work going along with it. The work to be included in the mainline construction are the stops, overhead electrical, Indian underground electrical returns, conduit, traffic signaling, Most of that's going to be just going from pole to pole, traffic signal, or in the slab itself. It'll occasionally have drops that have to exit outside of that. But a lot of this work's going to be linear. They're going to go one direction. It'll be a series of crews. We can get to the next slide. Let's see what. So starting in the upper left corner, we've got the demo crew that comes through. Demo crew comes through, and they basically knock out pavement and anything else that they need to get rid of. They will go back. And as you can see there, that's a steel plate with some gravel supporting it. Day-to-day traffic will still be able to access several of the roads and the driveways along the route. And as you can see, this work is very linear. Following behind them, so the real quick, demo crew comes out. It's 1,800 to 2,000 feet they'll knock out at a time. They're one of the fastest crews that's going to come through. Following them will be a civil crew. They'll prepare subgrade. They will also do any and all there is some limited stormwater work along here. They'll also get a lot of your conduits in that actually have to get below the grade slab. Then you'll have a skeletonization crew that comes in. That's your bottom left corner, and then also the bottom middle. And they're going to build enough rebar to hold the tracks in place, form up everything for the actual slab. Any conduits that has to be in and formed around and actually cast into this will be included in that. Then will come a welding crew. That's your middle top. The 115 rail shows up in about 80-foot sticks. That gets unloaded. It gets welded together into 320 to 400 feet. We'll call it an average of 360. Those all get pushed and piled up, and then when ready, they'll get drug out, laid in, and in one case even looks like zipped down, and that then gets followed by the upper right, where they'll actually come in and pave and cast around the rail itself. And then there's a final crew, the finishing crew. They're going to do striping, any minor other details that need to get put in. And then after the track is built, you'll also start to then see the actual stops really starting to get built up. They'll lay the groundwork initially for them. Each of these crews, from the start to finish, you may see an area, that 1,800, 2,000 feet at a time. You're going to, 6 months plus or minus a few months from the time they go in and demo to the time you see a finishing crew going in and putting in stripes and any of the planting landscaping that comes at the end. Next slide. This is roughly what it's going to look like on that first heading. You got zone 1. If you'll notice, the red hatched area is your north lane and parking. There is going to be a continuous westbound traffic that's going to be allowed. We are going to have some specialized signaling down here or additional signaling and signage due to the fact that we're also going to be having the intersection of Turner. You can see at the right side of the screen there, Turner and Farnham is going to be shut down. And as this rolls along, so the first crew comes in demos and they crew by crew. So third crew will have a demo crew over here. Second, zone 7-2 will have the civil crew and probably some of the skeletonization crew as tracks getting pulled into zone 7-1 with paving following up behind them. Then when this flips over, we'll have a little chicane that comes through and down around. You'll still have one continuous southbound lane, and then they'll take the south parking and south lane, and they'll just keep zipping along. You can hit the next few. Oh, I guess it doesn't show the full part of it. My bad. Forgot about that. Anyway, it'll come down same way. 7-2 will flip down to 8-2. 7-3 flips down to 8-3. You'll have the whole south side done. They'll come through, finish that up, and then sometime towards the beginning of 28, they should be all out of there. That's somewhat due to the stops and other landscaping and tail end processes. And with that, we'll head over to business development, Mr. Jensen.
All right, thanks, Mike. So we understand the difficulties that construction work can cause, but there are a number of things that we're doing to try and help during this period. So I'm going to go through a quick list of some of the things that we are always working on. The first is overall communication. So on the OSA website, omahastreetcar.org, you can find construction updates. You can find an interactive map that shows up-to-date information by area, frequently asked questions, and just a lot of other information about the project as a whole. We also do weekly construction update email newsletters. And so if you haven't signed up for those, be sure you do. They're very helpful, like outline exactly what's being shut down, what's open, what the progress is, how long things will be under construction in different areas, and so forth. We have these monthly construction update webinars. And then, of course, Wendy Thompson, who you met at the beginning of this webinar, is available and has a phone number posted, and she'll talk about that at the end. And you can always get in touch with Wendy if you have questions. From an accessibility standpoint, in those construction zones, we maintain sidewalk access to the businesses. Delivery access to the businesses is also coordinated. In the area west of I-480, we maintain one-way westbound traffic, pardon me, excuse me, whenever possible. Outside the construction zones, we maintain standard traffic configurations at all times. We have directional traffic signage, directional signage for pedestrians as well along the route. When it comes to parking, we work to maintain access to all the off-street parking in the construction zones at all times. We've added parking directional signage in as needed as well. Maintain unobstructed on-street parking outside of construction zones. The city's parking division is continuing to work on their Parking Partners program, especially in the Blackstone area. That has allowed us to open areas for parking at nights and on the weekends that is used by businesses during the day, during the week. We've also constructed a temporary parking lot at the corner of 40th and Harney to help serve that western portion of Blackstone during construction. And then when you get to the eastern part of Blackstone, we provide 2 hours of free parking in that new Blackstone garage as well. From a business promotion standpoint, we've added business advertising and support signage along the route. Business wayfinding signage has been installed in various areas along the route where there is construction occurring. Banners, storefront window posters, and so forth have been placed along the route. Business promotion and advertising has been added to the OSA Streetcar newsletter, and we encourage contractors and workers, excuse me, to frequent local restaurants and businesses during the construction period, and then also we hold events in businesses along the route during the construction. When it comes to financial assistance, we worked with the chamber and they have distributed $1 million in a business support loan fund in the area west of Turner Boulevard, because that area is experiencing the greatest and longest period of disruption. That money has been distributed through the property owners and managers along the corridor. The chamber also reached an agreement with those property owners and managers that if they were to receive the funds and provide them to the small businesses in their buildings, that they also provide an additional $250,000 a year in support through reducing their lease rates. So we do a number of things and we continue to work on that to try to in any way we can facilitate and help out the small businesses that are impacted during this construction period. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Wendy, and she'll discuss a little further the construction communications. Wendy?
Thank you, Steve. Your engagement and understanding are vital as we continue to build this transformative project for Omaha, and there are ways to get involved or receive information to about the project. Next month, we will not hold a webinar because the Omaha Streetcar Authority will host a public open house on Thursday, December 11th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Durham Museum. The open house will feature updated information about the ongoing utility relocations and track construction. Attendees will have the opportunity to learn about the project and visit with and ask questions of the construction team. There will be no formal presentation and registration is not required. If you're unable to attend in person, all of the exhibits will be available on the website following the open house. Our next public webinar will be held in January. We will hold it on January 14th due to the holidays. We understand construction can be disruptive, and we're committed to minimizing impacts and keeping you informed. To do that, we've developed a few key resources. First, a weekly email that Steve mentioned for you to get summaries of work, project progress, and milestones directly in your inbox. You can sign up on the website. Our second is an interactive GIS map, which was developed to allow you to zoom in on your area to see specific project impacts. It's frequently updated with the latest, most accurate information. We encourage you to share these valuable resources with your neighbors, colleagues, and anyone interested in the project's progress. Our team is here to ensure everyone has the information they need to understand and navigate these changes. Please leverage our resources, reach out with your questions, and stay connected as the project moves forward. Finally, if you have immediate concerns or would like more information from the project team, please contact Alyssa, the city's Media Relations Manager in Public Works, or myself by phone or email. Now let's begin the Q&A session with questions that were sent in but haven't yet been answered. Please continue to add questions about construction and traffic impacts to the Q&A box. So Steve Jensen, let's start with the first question. Have they determined how many people both live and work on the route?
We don't have a specific number of residents or jobs along the route. However, since the project was announced, we've approved over 3,000 housing units along the route within 6 blocks of the tracks. That represents over $1.3 billion in new development within that 6-block radius. We have more on the way. Ultimately, we anticipate thousands of housing units and jobs to be added within the corridor. We expect to reach about $4 billion in new development within the first 15 years along the route. The billions of dollars in new development that is done actually generates a very significant increase in tax revenue, which of course then also helps us in terms of expanding the city's tax base, which ultimately then benefits all of the city's residents. So yes, we already have thousands of people living in the corridor. We will have thousands more living within the corridor when we're done. As I said, we keep track right now about 3,000 units under construction. That'll be well over 3,000 people then living in that corridor. So we'll keep track and we'll keep you posted as we move along.
Thank you. Steve, Rue, or Mike, one of you could answer this next one. Is there a resource online listing all current construction projects downtown with expected completion dates? So this, I think they're thinking like more than just our construction updates.
We have, so a little bit of a backup as far as like traffic control and where crews are generally working based on that traffic control. That can be found on the Streetcar's website if you scroll down to construction update. A unified where everything going on, all the different developments and everything. I am unaware of any particular city-led or OSA accessible resource for that.
Yeah, you could utilize the Public Works page or the Keep Omaha Moving page. That would show all of our active traffic closures. And through the Public Works page, you could find links to every construction project. However, no, we do not have them all. We don't have them specifically grouped into like downtown projects or West Omaha projects or anything like that. They would be in order that they were bid on the website, I believe. So if you're looking for traffic control, I think the OSA website, most of the construction down there is OSA based. So that's your best bet. And then the Keep Omaha Moving website, which I think is linked through our Public Works page now, our new Public Works page. You could find all of the traffic closures that we have currently approved.
So just to kind of add on to that, for instance, the tower down there has part of 14th Street block, the new Beacon Tower.
Yeah.
That's another one. Yep, that's another one that's impacting, and we don't get schedule updates on there. I believe the sign on their fence says that they're opening in, late 26. And unfortunately, that's about all the information we have. So if you want all of the construction projects, we don't have access to everyone's schedule in the downtown.
That's a good point,
area.
Mike. Our website would only list Public Works capital improvement projects. Obviously downtown at all times, and this is a huge reason why we're pushing for the streetcar, right? Is there's a lot of development occurring downtown right now. And those are all private development, private developments. So we, yeah, as Mike said, we don't have those schedules or anything like that.
Thank you. Steve Rue, we got a question sent in that said they want to verify that the work on 8th Street and Capitol won't overlap with the 10th and Capitol Street work because of closures and access issues to like residences and businesses in that kind of Capitol Douglas 10th 8th loop.
Yeah, we work, obviously there is a ton of work happening in that area. We are very diligent about as they move through these different phases, intaking the proposed traffic control plans, overlaying them with all of the current traffic control plans that are out there, as well as all the proposed traffic control plans that are coming up, and ensuring that access remains open at all times. So no, we're not going to landlock anybody either into or out of their business or their home or their apartment. That obviously, if you're down there, that's not to say that access will not be restricted. Right now, access is restricted in a lot of different areas. But no, we would not overlap projects in such a way that you just cannot get to a business, apartment, the park, whatever it is that you're trying to get to. There's like Wendy's part of this, I'm part of this, Mike's part of this. There's 6 or 7 of us that overlap all of the incoming traffic controls and make sure that we're leaving access remaining for everybody that's down there.
We're also working with Kiewit as they go through, since they're going to have linear, unbroken line of work. As you saw there, there's some of that bridging that's going to be part of it. And then when you actually have to work in that direct area, how do we coordinate that? But we have, as of this time, we are working to make sure that everyone knows, that some level of access is going to be maintained, and we're going to do our best to make sure that it minimizes any impact on you. But as Steve said, yeah, we're getting it all. We're creating a master level template and tracking it up here.
To loop in that last question as well, when we do have private developments, while we are not in charge of those projects, we do have oversight on anywhere that they impact the right of way, which includes traffic control. So there is obviously some private development happening in the same area. Anywhere that they are requesting traffic control also goes through us and is incorporated in those reviews that we do. So we should not run into a situation where those unknowingly overlap and create an issue as well.
Thank you. I see we got a question about signage for Midtown and Blackstone. I think we covered it in the presentation, but there are ongoing conversations happening with Midtown and Blackstone to make sure there is enough wayfinding signage out there. Steve or Mike, did you have anything else to say about that?
No, just that in general, we are going to, normal city process, we're going to inform you with enough time per MUTCD that, hey, there's an upcoming closure, and you're going to be able to kind of pick your own alternate route. Due to the complexity of this project, and then even coordinating with, like Steve had just said, other projects, we are going to provide some direct wayfinding, this is how you get to the garage there near 33rd and Farnham. This is how you get to the 38th and Farnham garage in Blackstone. This is how you can come in. And also helping to provide a lot of those businesses. This is where truck routes can still come in. And then also, if they do have any oversized loads, we do remind anyone, please coordinate that earlier rather than later, because we'll be able to have normal traffic as the main line goes through. But if you want to have a few semi-truck loads coming through, that is something we're going to need to be made aware of.
Thank you.
We do outreach on those things out in front. So hopefully we catch those.
How many days a week do the crews work on the utility projects and then upcoming Kiewit project?
Generally speaking, they're going to stick to 5-day schedules. When there's rush events or things that, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess I would like to back up just a little bit and explain how these contracts work a little bit, because I get this question all the time. So when we let these contracts out to contractors, we provide dates at which work needs to be complete, but for all these contracts is a final date, right? So we have some phasing in here, but the final date is the date at which it needs to be complete, or there are penalties that are potentially assessed to the contractor. So it is honestly up to them how often they work. Now, we see them out there 5 or 6 days a week. I know that we have guys out there most Saturdays. It might not be on every single site that's active, right? Because we have many active sites and we're trying to move crews around. And like Mike was about to say, we have prioritized work. So we have crews that need to come in at night, so they might not be there the next day. If they're doing a water cutover, maybe they need to work Saturday, Sunday to get something done. So then there has to be another day off that those individuals are given. But the number of days they work is determined by how they're going to meet that deadline. And obviously we have a great partner in Hawkins on every single one of these projects. And they are very good about prioritizing their work and their work schedule to not burn their guys out while at the same time meeting their deadlines. And we're seeing that on Utilities West and the bridge.
And we're also going to have that same, we're going over some of that spacing with Kiewit. For instance, a lot of the rail gets pulled at night, so you don't have to interfere with traffic after it gets stacked up. To actually place the rail, we'll have to coordinate flagging through intersections and things like that. As he had said, water cutovers now with a lot of the utilities, some of the sewer cutovers as well. They're generally working in that 40 to 50 hour a week range, but it may not always necessarily be during the time that someone's immediately there. And then also events like College World Series, or the Berkshire event, or if we have upcoming was the Labor Day parade, and there was they worked extra and if you came down then you just see some fences up, no one's gonna be back there partly for safety. But yes, the crew times do vary. It's generally, think of it as a 5-day work week's probably a good general mental set, but when that 5 days varies.
Yeah, at least. There are also situations that are going to occur a lot on this project where we are doing water testing of the new water mains that go in. So they got to put in chlorine tubes, and they need to do bacteria testing and pressure testing and some other things. And so there may be periods of time, whereas they're waiting for test results to come back, where they're doing the testing. That involves a very small crew. So you might look out and think that, oh, well, how come there's only two people out there doing work right now? Well, that's just where that phase of the project is at. I can assure you that all of those available resources, all those people and equipment have just moved to some other part of this project to maintain. We have an extremely aggressive schedule here. So I am confident all those people have just moved to some other part of the project to accelerate that end of it. And then when that testing's done, come back over and finish that out. So they are working diligently for sure.
Thank you. And thank you all for the great questions. For questions we were not able to address on this call, I will contact you at the registration email you provided when you signed up. But I think we got everything, so thank you. That wraps our session for today.
I just wanted to tell everyone, thank you for your time on this webinar, and thank you for, giving us a little bit of your time as well. I just want to remind you, yes, we're heading into 2026, as you saw with Mainline, and as Steve has said, the East Utilities package will still be going full bore at that time. It's going to be our heaviest construction season of all, but we are going to go ahead and try to strive our best to minimize impacts, and we're looking forward to making the best streetcar system we can for the city with what we got. So thank you, and we're going to try to keep working with you in the public.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you at the public open house meeting next month. Have a great day.